breaking news coming in, the Northern Alliance now claims the direct role of Pakistan in the Taliban advance across Afghanistan. In fact, there is this particular ID that they have put out of a Taliban terrorist who was earlier killed, which is an ID card from Pakistan. It doesn't surprise any one of us, Abhishek. Does this surprise you?
No, I mean, in fact, Deepthi, if you would see, we have been discussing it since the time the Taliban offensive began with the first movement out of United States Army, that they are fully backed by Pakistan. They are Pakistan proxies. Sanction Pakistan is a trend that has been going on social media platforms because everyone else sees that the rapid strides that were made by Taliban are essentially because Pakistan deep state facilitated them. Can we forget the pictures 3 days ago of Pakistan's ISI chief Faiz Hamid, General Faiz, in Kandahar praying with the Taliban? Have we forgotten that Mullah Baradar, when he had to come from Doha to Kandahar, he first landed in Pakistan and then took the land route via the Spin Buldak border to Kandahar. So obviously, there is a lot which has been a giveaway, including Indian intelligence sources telling us that the foot soldiers of terror organizations Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed are patrolling the streets of Kabul in support of Taliban. And of course now, the fact that officially the security of Kabul is in the hands of the Haqqani network, which is a Pak proxy. So, if more evidence was needed, now we have these ID cards which have been found on the militia that were contesting with the Northern Alliance forces and have been killed. It clearly shows that these are Pakistani citizens, Pakistani soldiers, possibly conscripts of the army having been sent as irregulars, and Pakistan is past master at that from the time of 1948, sending in irregulars, and then we remember doing that in Kargil, and now Pakistan is doing that with Afghanistan.
Oh, absolutely. Abhishek, for the moment, thank you so much for getting us that perspective. I also want to say good evening to Major Gaurav Arya, who joins us on the broadcast. Major Gaurav Arya, this isn't a surprise, but the Northern Alliance there has put out this ID that is playing out on our screens, along with more proof of what they believe is a direct role of Pakistan in what is happening in Afghanistan. But the point, Gaurav Arya, is that what happens next? Everyone knows that this is the handiwork of Pakistan, but why are countries like the US still being so soft vis-a-vis Pakistan?
See, it's not just that this ID card has been found on a Pakistani soldier who's masquerading as the Taliban. I have a video with me and I will share it with the news desk soon, in which Pervez Musharraf, as president, from inside the president house in Pakistan, says that his own regimental people, officers and men of the Special Services Group, the Special Forces of the Pakistani Army, had gone on to fight along with the Taliban. So here is the former president of Pakistan who made this comment when he was president and army chief of Pakistan. And he's saying on screen that, yes, our people went, they took money and they fought along with the Taliban, masquerading as the Taliban against the other forces. So this is not new. We have it on record from Pervez Musharraf himself.
But then, Gaurav, if there is so much proof, there is so much evidence, the sitting Prime Minister Imran Khan is speaking as an apologist for Taliban. I do not still understand that what is stopping the world from acting against Pakistan. Now, Gaurav, why don't you hold that phone line? As I also join Sushant Sareen, senior fellow at the ORF, who also joins us. Sushant, what is your reading then of why the world today hesitates to act against Pakistan in spite of the irrefutable evidence, Sushant, that draws up again and again that tells you that everything points towards Pakistan? Why should the US not be acting?
That is a great mystery at one level, because the US has known for the last 20 years that the Pakistanis have been treacherous, and have stabbed them in the back. And yet the Americans have, the level of foolishness in the American policy-making circles is astounding. Because even today, despite knowing what Pakistan has done, there are so many Americans who are saying that, listen, we need to continue to support Pakistan and Taliban in Afghanistan so that we have some leverage, we have some influence on these people. We can influence them to do the right thing as though they managed to influence them over the last 20 years. So one is, they haven't done it for 20 years. I don't see how they can do it right now. Second problem is a more immediate problem. And, it is that the Americans have to use the Pakistani airspace to complete the evacuation mission. Now, if they have to use the Pakistani airspace at least for the next 2 weeks, if not a little longer, then what action can they possibly take against Pakistan at this point in time, short of declaring war on them, and still continue to use their airspace to complete the evacuation mission? So I would imagine that a lot of these things will become clearer once the evacuation is over. At that point of time, we'll have to see, is America really a failed superpower, a shadow of itself, which cannot assert itself even against a third-rate country like Pakistan and then actually succumbs before them? Or does America say, okay, fine, you stabbed us in the back, but now there will be a payback for what you did? So we'll have to see once this particular mission is over. Until then, I think their hands are tied. But of course, once this mission is over, the Americans could say that, okay, fine, we need to be in Pakistan so that we can understand what the hell is happening around the region. But my question to them would be that for 20 years, if you have not understood, then you're not going to understand ever again. So I don't know. I'm not a policymaker in the US, but frankly, the American policy makes very little sense to me anymore.
And I think to a lot of us then, Sushant, I think we identify with that sentiment. But thank you to you for adding that perspective. As I also say good evening now to Major General Ashwani, who's been very patiently holding the phone line. Major General Ashwani, what in your view then should be happening next vis-a-vis the role of Pakistan? The fact that Taliban again is propagated, it is supported at all levels by Pakistan is an open secret. The Northern Alliance now, sir, has also put out pictures that tell you more of the people who, under the disguise of Taliban, were actually Pakistanis. Their ID cards, more belongings, everything is pointing towards a clear Pak hand.
Absolutely. See, as far as Pakistan is concerned, it stands completely exposed. They were the one which was supporting Taliban while they were fighting in Afghanistan. The logistic supply line of Taliban was through Pakistan. Their medical facility was through Pakistan. Their breeding ground for them was Pakistan. And in fact, the operation for last 2 months were conducted from Peshawar and Quetta. And now, when this resistance has started building up in Panjshir, wherein Northern Alliance is taking district after district, they have now captured almost 9 districts under basically Ahmed Masood and Abdul Rashid Dostum. Now you find that Pakistani and this guys of Taliban are fighting. Though they have been not able to succeed anywhere in northern and northwest area, Taliban is now routed. It is a Northern Alliance which is gaining momentum, and they will slowly and steadily, you'll find that the resistance will increase. And now Tajikistan has also openly come, and they have offered them a helicopter and other arms and ammunition. So therefore, this resistance is built. And whereas Pakistan is exposed in the name of Taliban, it is Pakistani which are fighting against Northern Alliance. So therefore, Pakistan is exposed completely, whether they were supporting the Taliban or they were fighting along with the Taliban in Afghanistan. Now fighting against Northern Alliance, it is Pakistani regular soldiers which have been found there. And remember this 10,000 terrorists which they were sent, Lashkar-e-Toba and Jaish-e-Mohammed, to fight along with Taliban against Afghan forces are also available there. So the point is, Pakistan is totally exposed in the whole world. Pakistan is a part of a problem, not part of solution. Now they are putting pressure on Afghan, these people who are negotiating on regarding the new government. They are telling Taliban that they have no choice but to put Haqqani group at the main on the brink, that Sayfuddin Haqqani must be the one who should be given the biggest role in next Taliban government. whereas the Taliban is not inclined. They are now discussing with Hamid Karzai and Abdullah. Hamid Karzai is been
Yes.
supposed to be very close to India, which is not to the liking of Pakistan. So overall, Pakistan is playing a very negative role, need to be exposed, and Pakistan stand exposed today when you find the soldiers are fighting against Northern Alliance. It is not Taliban which is fighting, it is the regulars of Pakistan army which is fighting and trying to give resistance to Northern Alliance.